Did you know that there's no such thing as just snoring? From daytime sleepiness and depression to high blood pressure and diabetes, lack of sleep hurts, and sometimes you might need a sleep study to diagnose the problem. And you can do them at home, which is less expensive, more convenient, and much more representative of your true sleeping habits. That's where Dr. Craig Schwimmer comes in from the Snoring Center. Hi, Craig. How are you?
Great, Amy. How are you?
I like how you simply say snoring is not just snoring. There's always a problem.
Well, yeah, and furthermore, snoring can be a sign of sleep apnea, which clearly is a serious medical problem. And very often we need to decide or determine, does the patient just snore, which is problematic on its own, or is the snoring a sign of sleep apnea, in which case the conversation is, look, you've got a serious medical issue and we need to treat it. And the way often that we decide is by doing a sleep study.
Okay, which normally would entail a patient coming into a lab to be monitored.
Right. So historically, in the old days, you need a sleep study. Well, you would go to a facility, a sleep lab, and spend the night and get hooked up to a bunch of monitoring equipment and then wake up in the morning and go home. But clearly that's inconvenient. It needs to be scheduled. You need to make time to go do it. It's very expensive. And often it's hard for people to get a good night's rest in a strange place with a bunch of stuff on them and video cameras, and so a lot of people have been reluctant to go through the process, or couldn't afford it, or couldn't schedule it, and so there's clearly a need to do it in a better way.
Okay, and we've come a long way, and that's where this device comes in, which allows you to get that effective sleep study done, but in the comfort of your own home. How does this work?
So there are a variety of devices, but clearly where the industry is going is for people for whom sleep disordered breathing is what we're diagnosing. A home-based sleep study is increasingly the way to go. It is much more convenient, it is much less expensive, and it gives a much more representative study. You're at home in your own bed, doing your own bedtime ritual, and so it's much easier to get a representative night's study.
Okay.
And I brought an example. This is a device that we use at the Snoring Center. It's called a watch pat.
Okay. It's just like a watch.
Yeah, so basically, in order to get a sleep study, what you do is you take this home, you put this on your wrist and you wear this.
Okay.
There's a little probe that goes on this finger, if you'll hold that for me.
Sure.
This probe goes on this finger.
All right.
This gets wrapped around, little sticky tape. This gets wrapped around up here, like so.
Is this monitoring my heartbeat?
And so, yeah, so this will record a variety of information, and then this goes up on the chest and will record body position and snoring.
Okay.
You put this on at bedtime, you push this button, you go to sleep.
That's it.
And that's it.
And it's reading. Tell me all the things that it's reading.
So this will adequately tell us whether or not you have sleep apnea, and if so, how severe it is. And it gathers oxygen saturation information. So this is a pulse oximeter.
Okay.
It gathers pulse oximetry, peripheral arterial tension, and it records snoring and body position.
What? So it knows if I'm sleeping on my back or if I'm sleeping?
Exactly, and it knows which stage of sleep you're in, and it knows if you're awake or if you're asleep. And so, as you put this on, you push the button, you go to bed. You bring this back in the morning, and we generate this report, which tells us how long you're in bed, how long you're asleep, the percentage of time that you're in REM sleep, a variety of oxygen statistics, and it tells us all that we need to know to accurately diagnose whether or not you have sleep apnea.
This is pretty unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, it's remarkable, and it's just another example of how new technology allows us to get the information we need in a less expensive, more convenient way.
Okay, so for those who have been suffering through sleepless nights, maybe some of those horrible conditions we mentioned in the intro, a sleep study might be in order, so they just need to pick up the phone to see if this is right for them.
And look, there's plenty of people out there whose doctor has said, look, you need a sleep study. And because it was expensive or inconvenient or scary, they haven't done it. And now there's no reason not to.
This is not scary. I just had it done, and it's not scary at all. I got a good night's sleep last night. Dr. Craig Schwimmer, really valuable information. Thank you so much for being here. If you want more information on sleep studies or treatment for sleep apnea, it couldn't be easier. Just log on to snoringcenter.com. Over to you, Carrie.
Thank you.